In this video, we're going to talk about literal equations. So go ahead, copy down your lesson title, your standards, and also your I can statement. And also, you need to just understand that when I say literal equation, I just mean formula. That's all they are. So go ahead and pause, copy that stuff down, and we'll get started. So for this first example, we're going to take 5b plus 12c equals 9, and we're going to solve it for b. Now, the thing you need to understand about solving literal equations or formulas for a specific variable is that you're not really doing any math or combining everything. You're just using inverse operations to move things around. So remember that the b is what we need to get by itself, so you deal with that last. So the first thing that you need to do is you need to get rid of the 12c. So you have a plus 12c, so to get rid of it, we're going to subtract it on both sides. So that's going to give you 5b equals 9 minus 12c. And then the last thing you need to do is get the 5 away from the b. And so in order to do that, you need to divide by 5 on both sides. That's going to get rid of it over here. And then what you're left with is b equals 9 minus 12c divided by 5. And there's nothing else to do, so that's your answer. Okay, so notice not really any math to do, you're just moving stuff around. Okay, let's do another one. So go ahead and pause the video and give this one a try. So hopefully you saw that you have to solve for y, so the first thing you're going to do is subtract your 2x from both sides. That's going to give you negative 17y equals 13 minus 2. That's supposed to be an x. And then you're going to divide by negative 17. So you're going to have y equals 13 minus 2x divided by negative 17. And that's your answer. Alright, so let's move on to the next one. Now, don't sit here and copy the whole thing down. You just basically need to make sure that you have your formula right here down. And then you need to solve for m. Okay? So if we get started, we have E equals m divided by g. So we need the m by itself, and notice that you are dividing by g. So you're going to do the opposite and multiply by g on both sides. When you do that, your g's cancel, and then what you're left with is your answer of m equals E times g. Or you can have E times G equals M. Either one of those is fine. Now let's take the same equation and let's solve it for G. So if you start out with your formula, E equals M divided by G, and you need to get the G by itself, you've got a couple of different options. Now, your first one, you can multiply by g just like we did before, and then that is going to leave you with E times g equals m, and then from there you can turn around and divide by E, and then that will give you your your g by itself. So you're going to have g equals m divided by E. Okay? Let's do another one. Okay, so again, don't copy everything down, okay, but we need to know what we are asking for. So we know that we have an average fuel consumption of 30 miles per gallon, and we use 9.5 gallons, and we want to know how far we drive. So what that translates into is miles. Okay, so we are going to use the formula that we had before. So we have E equals m over g. Okay, because we need miles, remember we need miles, we're going to solve it for m. So I'm going to multiply by g on both sides, and then I'm going to have m equals, because this is going to cancel, E times g. Now you just plug your different formulas in. Okay, so when you do that, you have 30 times 9.5. And then when you go ahead and multiply those, you get 285. So your answer is 285 miles. Okay? So that's what we mean by using equations to solve problems. Okay, now let's talk dimensional analysis. Now these are going to be a little bit more complicated, but you just have to look at them in steps. Okay, so you know that we've got 52 kilograms, okay? And then we need to go from kilograms to grams to ounces and then to pounds. Okay, so that's what each of these steps means. Is right here you start with the weight of your chimpanzee, and then you convert kilograms to grams. So you set up a fraction, and then you're going to multiply. So when you take your 52 times your 1,000, you get 52,000 grams. Okay, so what you need to do now is you need to convert grams to ounces. So that is step number 2, is grams to ounces. So you take your 52,000 grams and you multiply it times your 0.0353 ounces, and that gives you 1,835.6 ounces. Okay, and then what you need to do, the last thing you need to do, is convert those ounces into pounds. So you take your 1,835.6 ounces and you divide it by your 16 ounces, and you get an answer of 114.725, so that's about 115 pounds. Okay, so let's do one more. So again, for this one, you need to first find your total meters, then convert meters to yard, then convert yards to miles. So it's a 3-step process, and basically you need to remember that your that's going to be meters, so all of your units are canceling. That's all they mean by dimensional analysis. Okay, so remember that if you have any questions or run into trouble, make sure you bring your questions to class, and I will see you tomorrow.